Uncharted is getting its 7th director signed on with Ruben Fleischer, who directed Venom.
And I don't know how to feel about that, because if it, 7th director, I don't know if that means that the studio has a specific plot that they want them to follow and the directors couldn't figure it out, or the directors are getting creative freedom and they just can't figure it out.
Or maybe they just decide they're uninterested with the film, because it's hard to make a movie from a video game.
And I've heard
based
that,
on what we've seen.
And this was recent, that Mark Wahlberg is only signed on for one film.
Yeah. So if they're not making a franchise, but this is maybe it's because this is allegedly a prequel movie,
right?
Which is gonna draw a lot of inspiration from Uncharted 4.
I see.
So if Mark Wahlberg's like a young Sully,
it makes sense.
Then it makes sense for him.
Of course, you have Tom Holland in the role,
right? If he's supposed to be really young,
right?
Like he's kind of older for that role, so it's gonna be interesting how they make it a prequel.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna make it so that they're gonna get a completely different actor for an older Nathan Drake,
or are they gonna try and use Tom Holland twice? Because I don't know how long he signed on for.
Right, it just doesn't make sense how they're gonna do that, because if Tom Holland isn't that young, and if they get an actor that's around, because
how far forward can they go? If this is a prequel, how much further forward in time can the next one be if Mark Wahlberg's not going to be in it, but Tom Holland might?
Yeah, and how so are they going to make it so that Tom Holland looks like the person that's going to play him in the future?
Yeah.
It's
very interesting.
Yeah.
So, and it's directed by Ruben Fleischer, which I don't mind because he makes enjoyable movies.
He made Zombieland, yes.
Yeah, he made Zombieland, Zombieland 2, and Venom. Mm-hmm. And all those movies are enjoyable.
I think Venom. I think Venom would have been better if the studio didn't interfere so much.
Yeah, it should have been.
Because I heard that from Tom Hardy that some of the best scenes from Venom, or his favorite scenes, were cut,
which is very unfortunate.
Yeah,
studios getting involved I just feel like it shouldn't happen. Like it's one thing if it's like the MCU and they just have to do it because they are keeping this overall thing, this overarching plot going on. But when it's just a movie like Fantastic Four, directed by Josh Trank, they cut a lot out of that. Mm-hmm. Even though that movie's terrible and probably wouldn't have been an amazing movie with this stuff, you'll never know.
Yeah, and it's a little unrelated, but isn't it that Steven Spielberg isn't going to be directing the upcoming Indiana Jones?
He's not going to. It's going to be James Mangold.
Right, and even that kind of is along the same lines because it's not his creative touch throughout the whole franchise that he's had.
So far.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I don't mind because I like James Mangold's movies.
He's made some incredible movies, Ford v Ferrari, Logan,
Just, it's strange almost, not having Steven Spielberg involved. And, it's getting its 7th director, and I don't know how it'll be because it's a video game movie, and most video game movies
are terrible.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Sonic, not doing too bad, and the Pokemon Detective movie, or the Detective Pikachu movie, didn't do bad,
and Tomb Raider, which wasn't a good movie, really.
Yeah.
And so,
most video game movies, though, other than, like, a select few of them, are pretty bad.
And I don't know why studios are under the impression that people want video game movies, because they did a poll recently that said, like, I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm pretty sure like 46% of people wanted a video game movie.
And that means that it's not the majority.
Right.
Even though it's close, that still means less than half of the people want that.
And there have been so many at this point. What other franchise do you want to make a movie out of?
That's when we get to the next thing where Eli Roth is going to be directing a Borderlands movie.
Which, I don't know, I wonder how they're going to do this. Are they going to make it a live action? Are they going to stick with the style of the Borderlands series?
And I've played through Borderlands, and they've got a cohesive story, but at the same time, I wouldn't think of making it into a movie.
No, it seems like a very daunting task to make a movie out of that.
Like, would it just be in the same, like, world, and, like, not the same characters or anything?
Mm-hmm. And I've heard that it's going to be R-rated so that it can keep with that, Borderlands.
That makes sense, at least.
But at the same time, this is Eli Roth.
Right.
He's made, Hostel and The Green Inferno, which are some very, very violent films.
So
I don't know how that's going to translate to an action shooter
It
franchise.
could work, because Borderlands does get quite violent.
It does, but it's cartoony at the same time.
It's cartoony. So if it's live action, it's going to feel weird to watch.
Yeah. And what would the cast be? Because there's a different set of heroes that play them every time. And then you've got the main villain, which is Handsome Jack. Yeah. Is his name. Who would portray him, Yeah.
And it's just, I don't understand why they have to keep making video game movies. Because most people don't want them, and most of them aren't good.
It seems like
a pure cash grab, in my opinion.
If they give full creative Control to Eli Roth, this could be a very interesting movie because I'm not really a fan of Eli Roth's films, but I'm interested in seeing his vision.
His style could work with it.
Yeah.
But just overall with the Uncharted movie and the Borderlands movie,
it just seems pointless.
Yeah, it's questionable. Like, if you're gonna, why don't you just play the video game is all?
Yeah.
Like, I get it, some people don't like playing video games, but you can go on YouTube and watch a playthrough or something.
Right.
It's just, it seems like a waste of time and money for studios to
and
make
it's given the impression that, I mean, and they really do get big box office numbers.
Yeah.
Which does not help smaller studios that are actually putting out original films.
Yeah.
Or even big studios that are putting out original films. Like, I wouldn't say Blade Runner 2049 is a super original film.
Right, but because it was a sequel, but it's been years.
Right, but it's also a very unique kind of film.
And it flopped.
Right, and it shouldn't have, Yeah. And didn't Hereditary flop?
Yeah, Hereditary wasn't a big success.
Right.
And Birds of Prey flopped. Right. And I wouldn't say that's super original either, but, it's more original
compared
than
to
something based on a video game.
But, yeah, I just don't see the point of these films being made.